What's going on, guys? Mario Manduni here. As some of you might have guessed by the title of this video, Q2 is coming. We're going to go over one trend that you can make some money on in the coming months. Probably do a couple of videos in this series on Q2 and the opportunities that are in it. So let's start off with what I think is a great opportunity to jump on right now. And some of you may have guessed, Game of Thrones. So be very careful with this because you don't want to do any copyright infringement. You want to stick to items that are not directly saying anything from Game of Thrones. Maybe some quotes, maybe some parody in t-shirts and print-on-demand stuff. But the first angle I'm going to hit it from is just jewelry, because I love selling jewelry because you can get a nice big markup and people kind of buy jewelry all year round. So I'm going to really kind of focus initially on dragon jewelry. And let's take a look at Google Trends here. So we can see the Game of Thrones searches are starting to trend up. And Alaska and Massachusetts are your top states. I'm really not surprised about Massachusetts. I lived in Boston a long time. They love Game of Thrones up there. Okay, let's take a look at a longer term chart. So this is really telling, right? Because every time Game of Thrones new season comes out, you get a big bunch of interest and right to the finale, right? Right to the finale. You know, launch finale, right? So as you can see here, we're starting to get a little bit of a spike because Game of Thrones is coming out in, I want to say, 2.5 months, something like that. So one of the first things I would do going into this niche, and I guess I'll do this, even though it's going to flood my inbox, is go to Google Alerts, and put in Game of Thrones as your as an alert, and set your settings for an alert every day or every week or whatever you want to get. That way you'll kind of be up on top of things. So I went ahead and did a little demographic research here. According to something random from the internet called Fansided, these are the demographics of Game of Thrones fans. So we're looking at majority being 18 to 29, but with a buying section in the 30 to 44 years old. So, just because everybody's in 18 to 29 doesn't mean that you might not be able to price a little higher and target the 30 to 44. So, going for 18 to 29 years old for the majority of the fans, I think you're going to have to price a little more competitively, and Instagram is obviously your biggest go-to market for that age group. Facebook, Pinterest, Google Ads for the 30 to 44-year-olds. Okay? So, let's take a look at the biggest fan page I could find on Game of Thrones on Instagram. And it's this Game of Thrones Not Official. And as you can see, somebody's already doing a free plus shipping, but they are blatantly copyright infringing on this. What you really want to do is, if you wanted to do free plus shipping on this, you could use that font, probably the Game of Thrones font. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as gospel. But I think you could use that font and, just sell dragon jewelry. And then the next, most popular piece of jewelry probably be wolf-related jewelry, for Game of Thrones fans. So I think the dragon stuff is going to be sort of the best seller. And you obviously can't use imagery like this in an ad for what you're selling. But if you have a fan page or an Instagram fan page or what have you, you can use these photos and always give credit to the source of the photos. And you can repost memes and things of that nature. That does very well, just to get some content. And if you want to kind of bootstrap this, you could go and you could follow all the followers of these guys and try to get some follow backs. One thing that works out really well to follow some people is follow the people that are making comments and the people that they've tagged, right? Because not only are those people following this, they're actively engaged. Like, let's say you wanted to do a offer, free plus shipping or buy one, get one free. I'd recommend doing buy one, get one free instead of having a business model on free plus shipping now. Let's say you want to do something like that. You could go into this offer here, and if it ever loads, you could follow the people that are interacting with that one, right? Because those people are interested in purchasing some things, and that would make a really good base audience for your Instagram. And then you could import that Instagram to your business manager and make lookalike audiences off of those followers. So those are people that are interested right now in Game of Thrones related jewelry. But again, I wouldn't hit it from any copyrighted images of Game of Thrones. I would start with dragon jewelry, right? So we can do some dragon jewelry. We'll do a search on Pinterest for dragon jewelry. we got what comes up. And if you watch some of my other product research videos, you know I like this Chrome extension called Pin on Top, right? So I'll hit that pin on top, and that will let me load as many pages as I want based on repins. So we're going to sort by saves, get a couple pages of this. Okay, so you can see some of this jewelry here. You can find very similar stuff or identical to stuff like this on Aliexpress or whatever, wherever you want to drop ship from. There's some dragon type rings. Those do very well. Some of those glow in the dark. There's some glow in the dark dragon jewelry type pendants that do very well. So I'll go ahead and go over here to Aliexpress. I just search for dragon jewelry, and I'm sorting by orders. Unfortunately, there's really not much option directly from Aliexpress that's in the US. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a few of these from my Oberlo and go through that. Looks pretty cool. Just going to kind of do a dragon collection. Looks pretty cool. I've got a big email list of Instagram purchasers of jewelry, so that's kind of a no-brainer place for me to start, is to start doing some split testing with various email subject lines. Looks like this one glows in the dark, but it's from Elder Scrolls, so that might be copyrighted to that. I believe that's a video game. I'll look into it, though. Let's see. So we got a lot of necklaces. I think we need some bracelets and some rings. This looks pretty cool. Might be the same one. Let's try dragon bracelets. This one looks cool. It glows in the dark. Definitely going to grab that. Let's go ahead and grab this. That looks really cool. Grab that. This is the same stack as that one. This has a really cool picture to it. So that right there might make for some nice advertising. This is probably the same as that, but I like that color, so maybe I'll do it as a different SKU. Let's see what else stands out to us. These sell. I'm not crazy about these, but people like these, so I'll grab that. Something for everybody. Alright, so we got plenty of dragon stuff. Let's throw a few rings in there. There's definitely some really cool rings in this niche. Go by top sellers. Grab that. That looks identical. This looks different. We'll grab that. That looks unique. We'll grab that. This looks interesting. We'll check that out. That looks really cool. This looks sort of unique. We'll grab that. This looks very cool. And we saw that one was popular on Pinterest. There's another ring. And that looks really cool. We'll grab that. So we have way more than enough to start. It's just, as you can see, there's a lot of variety and choices for this niche. So let's do that. And that ought to give you more than enough to make a dragon collection for your store, or even make a whole store sort of based around. You could make it like a geekfantype.com. And I don't mean that to degrade the term geek. I mean, that's a very popular term to use in this niche, as well as you can make something dragon related, or you could use wordplay related to the show without, you know, explicitly saying Game of Thrones. You know, like the an acronym for Game of Thrones is GOT, so it's GOT. So you could look for some .coms around the word GOT, or some .stores or something, like, you know, geekfangot.store or what, something along those lines. Okay, so this is my first video in the opportunities for Q2, and I'll shoot you guys out a couple more of these videos. Let me know if you liked it, and feel free to ask any questions below.